I'm a new prime driver, been driving about 6 months. Big flatbed. Shout out to my boy Dan, the man, the best. I ain't gonna say the best, but he's pretty good, Thanks for tuning in. You are now watching the Prime Safety Meeting. We're gonna get at you in 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We appreciate you being here. You've got myself, Steve Field, and Bill Sprague here from the Safety Department. We are glad you are here this morning. And for those of you that haven't been to one of our meetings before, these have come a long way in the last 25 years. Let me tell you, I won't tell you what we used to do, but what we do now is Bill and I are standing here. You'll see on the monitors, we've got our terminals in Salt Lake City and Pittston. And over here to our left, we've got Andrea and Mitch, and they're putting it out on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So we try to give everyone the opportunity that we can to see it live, to ask questions live, but then we put it out there afterwards on social media so you can watch them at your leisure if you weren't able to watch it live, you were driving or just weren't available. We try to get this information out. We try to keep these meetings informative. We try to make it your meeting, answer your questions, ask you for topics you want us to talk about. And I think we've got a good group today, a good group of speakers. So again, we appreciate you being here. As I said, we've got our terminals. So maybe we'll go up to Pittston. Rick, are you there with us?
I am. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, Rick. How are you?
We're doing fine. You know, I had a great week this week. We had a nice big class, again, around 40 or so drivers coming in. And that's starting to show as far as is the amount of drivers coming back to upgrade. Just keep them coming. We're doing a fantastic job.
That is great. You got a nice facility up there. I know that long-term parking for the drivers across the street is slowly coming along, so that's a good thing. Did get some late breaking news for Pittston today, Rick. Heather from Cardinal Sleep is going to be up there the 14th and 15th of October. Heather will be up there to start swapping out machines on the recalled CPAP machines. So we'll coordinate that with you and get as many drivers as we can through the terminal. Heather will be up there. She'll fit the mask. She'll adjust it for them, take their old one, and we'll be back in business.
Well, we'll keep her. We'll get her set up and maybe keep her.
Send her back, please. We need her. Thank you, Rick. Good morning, Salt Lake.
Good morning.
How are you, Troy? Troy?
How are you today?
I think I'm loud. How are you guys out there?
Beautiful day in Salt Lake City. We're getting down to the low 40s out here now. So it's a little chilly in the mornings, but it's beautiful days, about 80 degrees in the day. So it's going to be a beautiful week in Salt Lake City.
Got the mountains, you got the desert, you got everything out there.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. We don't have a lot of water this year, but hopefully we get a lot of snow this year so we can build that back up next year.
Yep, absolutely. Well, if you guys have any questions, just shout at us. We don't want to forget you guys out there.
All right, we'll put them on the mic. Thanks.
Okay, good deal. Okay, back here, and actually for all three of our terminals, we always like to take a minute and welcome our new. Got cut. Okay. Welcome our new folks. If you're in a yellow vest or you forgot your vest or something, and
if you're new to the company and you just recently joined, do you see what I did there?
I don't want you to talk.
And you're brand new to the company and you just recently joined our family, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining our company and our family. And I hope you feel welcome here, because that's what we owe you. Okay. You're going to hear Robert, I guarantee it, say it later. One thing we owe you, and that's respect. So let's make sure that if you don't get it, you let us know about it. But thank you for joining us. Now you have.
I think I'm good now. And I also would like to add my thanks. You're entering a challenging profession, but I think a rewarding profession. This company runs on its trucks. We cannot survive as a country without our trucks, particularly our long haul truckers. And Bill just mentioned it, respect. I think maybe the needle has moved some during COVID because people realized, well, I'm going to stay home. It's dangerous out there. But the one group of people that did not get to stay home were the truckers. And you guys have been out there, and we appreciate you. And our new folks, you're coming at a great time to enter this profession right now. Another needle has shifted, and that is the needle that, it kind of ebbs and flows, ups and downs. But right now, the trucking companies have a little bit more say in what we do with our shippers, the rates we get, the way our drivers are treated. And we've been given a mandate that this is the time to correct those shippers that haven't performed as well as we would like, that don't respect your time, don't respect you personally out there. So we're working very hard to make sure that we're dealing with those shippers that respect you. And we're going to expect that from all our shippers out there. So again, for our new folks, we welcome you. We are glad you're here. You're our future. We need to grow, and we're going to grow through you folks. So, and again, it's a good time that you're coming, because right around the corner is winter. So you're going to be entering, oh no, I don't want to be there during winter, but this is a good time to be with your trainer out there. It's not impossible, but it's challenging in wintertime, and we're going to give you the tools you need to be successful out there. So welcome and thank you. Go ahead, Bill.
You ready to go on the safety side?
I am. Go right ahead.
Okay, we're going to touch on a couple of topics here. The first thing that we always like to share with you is the number of inspections that we have throughout the week. This is kind of our report card. The easiest way for me to explain inspections to you, if you get inspected and that inspection's got a violation on it, that goes against not only your record, but the company's record as far as what customers see. So if you can imagine, let's say we're in competition with another carrier for somebody's freight. And the first thing that company is going to do is log in and check our safety score versus the other carrier. That's where these numbers come from. And if we've got a worse safety score than that other carrier, they're going to get our freight. That freight was meant for us. We're the best company that's involved. I don't care who they're comparing us against. So let's make sure that we're keeping these inspections clean. Now, we have a very, very good clean inspection rate. Last week, we had a very large number, 152 inspections, 103 of those clean, 68% clean rate. Now, we've had some officers in here before talking to us about kind of what the nationwide average is. The nationwide average is around 40% clean. So, of course, Prime at 68% is one of the best. We want to be better, right? 68 is not good enough. That means there's 32% out there still for the picking. Let's make sure that we're inspecting that equipment, making sure before you go through those scales, everything's in good, proper working order. I always tell you, take a 30-minute break before you get to a scale location. Stop in a truck stop, look that equipment over, make sure your paperwork's all in order. The top 3 violations that still plague us is, can anybody guess what number 1 is? Well, you would think, no, it's actually bypassing a scale. That should never happen. We got to err on the side of caution. If it's confusing, if your in-cab signal is not the same as what the sign's showing, err on the side of caution, pull in. This is the number 1 point carrier that we get, and it falls under what's called unsafe driving. It doesn't say when they pull up and look at the CSA portal, it doesn't say, well, the driver got a confusing signal. It just says under unsafe driving, they got this many points. So make sure you know where those scales are. Like I said before, once you know that scale's coming up, take a break. Stop, look your equipment over. But not only that, you know it's coming. You know it's going to be which lane to be in. You know to be prepared for it. That violation is twice as many points as any other violation that we get in the company. The second one is seatbelt. We should never be getting a seatbelt ticket. These trucks are made as safe as they get, but it's only if you're using the safety equipment involved in it. You got a very dangerous job out there, and if you get involved in a serious accident, you need to have that seatbelt on because it is going to protect you. Not only just because it's the law, it's because we need you here. Okay, and we need you here, and we need you to be safe and not get yourself hurt. And the third is, as you alluded to, speeding. Pay attention to those signs and say, when you see those signs, Always base your speed. Make sure you're under it before you reach. Now, this is coming from someone with law enforcement. That doesn't mean that's the starting speed. I can go 510 over that. No, you can't. That is the speed limit. That second word is limit. That means you can't go over it. And especially in trucking, if they see that you're over that limit, they're going to stop you. Especially Illinois, Indiana, you're 1 to 5 over, they're going to get you. So make sure that you're either that speed or below to avoid any of these issues. Anything I missed, Steve?
No, I think that's good info. And I think it kind of leads into our next point, Bill, particularly that missing the scale. That one really hurts. And, you know, we've got our own theory on why we're missing the scales. And Bill's got a topic on that today. I think it's going to lead us into our next topic today.
You bet. So let's talk about something that I was told by the citations department I needed to bring it up in today's meeting because we received a couple violations on it this week, and that's distracted driving. You got to realize that you've picked one of the hardest professions there is, period. Anyone that's told you it's not, they've never done it or they're not doing it right, I promise you. It's very hard. For you that are new to this, you can't even be out there driving and check a text from back home. You can't do it. Okay, you have got to make sure that you are not distracted and that 150% of the time when you're behind the wheel, you are paying attention to what's going on in front of you. It only takes 2 to 3 seconds of what's going on for you to lose track of what's going on in front of you for a serious accident to happen. So Steve done some research this week and we found there are 3 main types of distraction. Now you don't have to get it word for word, but we've got a little challenge here and we've got some gift cards. They're pretty good ones. We won't tell you what they are. We'll wait until you see if you won. Now, I'm going to revert back to my 8-year-old daughter's 3rd grade class. Don't answer without raising your hand or you're disqualified from the prizes, okay? So I say that because we've had this happen before and 12 answers at the same time and no one knows who won what. We've only got 3 prizes, so we got to make sure that we do it right. So if you think you know one of those 3, raise your hand. Yeah. What's one of the 3?
Messing with your music.
That can be one. Yeah, messing with your music. That's right. Well, which topic are you going to say that falls under on your top 3?
You know, I'm going to put that under probably manual.
Manual. There you go. Hands off the wheel. You're messing with the music.
We got Starbucks, Subway, or there you go.
I never understood Starbucks. Have you ever looked up the word grande? It means big, right? That's not the large when you go there. I don't understand that. But anyway, okay. So got another one. No. So you know them. You've heard this maybe. So, okay, what you got?
Your passenger can be a distraction.
Is your wife in the truck with you? You may not want to say that if your wife's in the truck with you.
She's watching right now.
Is that going to fall under?
Not at this point.
We may circle back around to you if we can't find the right answer. Go ahead, Thomas.
I'm not going to go with the most obvious, food.
No, that's not what we're looking for.
That
Because
kind of goes under manual.
it goes under manual. We've already had manual. So hold on, way back here. And the cheap seats. Here, we'll start with you. Here you go.
Cell phone.
There you go. So, and everyone knows that this is a distraction, right? Let me get back up here. They're hollering at me because we're on. So electronic devices are not going anywhere, guys, right? It's got to be us that makes a difference. And that means wonderful tool, right? And you're going to need it. I guarantee you're going to use it for your trip scanning. Everything we do now is based around cell phones. But there's got to be a time and a place when we say no more and we shut it off when we're driving and we be the bigger person to make sure we're not using it. Okay. You are the professional driver. That means when you're behind the wheel, there's no place for this. Okay. So that is the number 1. And then he's going to hopefully give us the 3rd one.
Being too drowsy or tired.
Well, that's a good distraction, but that's not the one we're looking for. I'm going to give you a hint. You got to think about it.
Right behind. What do you think?
Smoking.
Smoking.
No, I'll give you another hint. You got to think about it.
I was
Go ahead, finish that breakfast.
sightseeing or something.
Nope.
Eating.
Nope. Well, I didn't think this was going to be that hard. Now, once again,
Got one here, Bill.
I got another tip. Think about it.
Messing with the GPS.
Nope.
No, those are all kind of the same.
CB radio is a distraction.
All those are good distractions, but it's not what we're looking for.
So you're either spacing out or not paying attention.
There we go. There we go. Now, what he said was spacing out or not paying attention. And the reason that we're saying that is because, earlier I alluded to, you got the hardest job there is. You can't even be lost in your own thoughts when you're driving a truck without it being a distraction. If you think about it, 5 seconds of not looking out the windshield, distracted in your own thoughts at 55 miles an hour, do you know how far you just traveled? Length of a football field. A lot can happen in the length of a football field if you're not paying attention to what's going on in front of you. So if you've got some issues, and I always tell drivers when I counsel them, if you've got some issues going on at home, find a safe place to take a break and work those issues out. Call them at home, call your dispatcher, let them know you got some things on your mind you need to work through. Because if you're distracted and thinking of things back home and you're driving, you're not 100% paying attention to what's going on in front of you. And we need you locked in when you're behind the wheel, because that way you can end every day safely. That's all I got, Steve.
We got a lot of good guesses there, and there wasn't
They're all
one long
distractions.
guess. You're right. Everything that you said is distracted driving, and we were kind of focused in on the three different types of things that can distract you out there. You're thinking, you're daydreaming, you're looking around, you're not looking in front of you, or you're messing in the truck. And we got a lot with messing in the truck, whether it's the radio, grabbing a cigarette, getting something to eat. So as Bill said,
This guy's wife.
that guy's wife.
You're going to pay for that.
All
She
of
watches
those
it.
things are distracting out there. And I'll tell you, from what we've seen, the four-wheelers are a lot more distracted than the drivers out there. Drivers, professional drivers do a good job, but it is so tempting to grab that phone. Who's texting me? This must be important. Nothing is more important than being safe out there, making sure that you don't get hurt, and just as importantly, making sure we don't hurt anyone out there. Those can be life-changing events for families, for yourself, and we're going to give you all the tools. We just need to make sure we've always got our head in the game, that we're always focused on what our job is, and that is to drive that truck safely. So thanks for all the input on that. It was a little bit of fun giving out the gift cards. I think that one is for the one over there. Yeah. Way in the back. Okay, we've got some pretty good speakers today. We've brought Jason Seymour back. We're going to kind of change Jason a little bit. He doesn't know that, but we're going to change it a little bit today. We've also got John Harden from our Intermodal division. If you go back years ago, it was kind of reefer, then it was reefer and flatbed, then it was reefer and flatbed and tanker. Now it's reefer, flatbed, tanker, and intermodal. One of the unique things about Prime is we give you so many different choices. To us, I'll say it doesn't matter. We just want you as a safe driver out there that's taking care of our customers. If you want to be a lease operator, we're all in. If you want to be a company driver, we've got a home for you there too. If you want to work on the intermodal side where it's a little bit different, that's cool too. Same thing with tanker, flatbed, reefer. We're going to give you every opportunity, so there's not going to be any reason to leave. And I'll steal maybe a little bit of Robert's thunder later for our new folks here. We don't want you to leave. We're going to track you down if you leave, and we're going to bring you back kicking and screaming, because this is where you belong. You're going to see stuff out there. Oh, there's a $10,000 sign-on bonus. Well, why wouldn't I go there? Well, you go there, and if you're only making $500 a week, all of a sudden that bonus doesn't look so good, or they don't get you home, or they've got poor equipment, or they don't respect you. And we have people leave all the time. It's just part of trucking. The good part is the majority of them, the good ones, we get them back. And we're not going to fault anyone for looking on the other side. If the grass is greener, we're going to try to prevent you from doing that. But if you've made a mistake and you've left, come on back. We will welcome you back with open arms. We need you, and this is your home. And a lot of times when we have these million-mile dinners for our drivers, some of our safest, longest tenured drivers, we'll see at the beginning of their career at Prime, they were here a couple years and then left, then came back and never left again, because they realized this is their home. And that's what we want everyone to think, that this is your home. So we've got Jason Seymour. We've got John Harden in Intermodal. I kind of got distracted myself there. Then we've got Sam Messick talking about the fuel network. Sam really gives us some good information on why we buy fuel, from who we buy it from, who our preferred vendors are. So be ready for that. So I think we'll get started if you're ready, Jason. So introduce yourself, and then we'll switch it up a little bit today. Go ahead.
My name is Jason Seymour. I work in reefer operations.
Welcome, Jason.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Good to be here. Okay, I will play the role of the PSD today. And I worked at a printing company. I was there 25 years, and now people aren't buying magazines and books. And I was doing pretty good. I was making $45,000. You know, it was a pretty good living right there. But I lost my job. I did a lot of research, and I came to Prime. And you know, you're promising me big things. You know, you promise I'm going to make more money than I've ever made in my life, be able to take care of my family. What's my first step? I'm here as a PSD. Am I getting paid this Friday?
No, there's not going to be any pay this Friday. You know, as you folks know, during the apprenticeship, during the PSD phase of your training, while you're working to get that CDL, there is no pay. There's a little bit of an advance to pay for food and stuff out on the road, but while you're working towards that CDL, there isn't any pay that's going to be given to you or earned.
Is that going to last very long for me?
No, it lasts probably 3 weeks, maybe 4, depending on how quickly you progress through the program. I think our average is about 21 days or so from the time that a person gets their permit to the time that they pass the CDL test. And at that point, that's when you get hired. And there's actually a bonus paid when you take that CDL test based on how many times you take it. If you trifecta, of course, the bonus is a little bit higher than if you have to maybe take the backing twice or the pre-trip 2 times or whatever. So,
okay. So like these folks here, they did their research and they realized, okay, the first 3 weeks going to be a little bit tough. You know, I put some money aside, got my family to take care of, so I'm covered there. So I made it through. I got my CDL, so I'm just ready to go trucking right now. So am I going to get my own truck and head on out?
no, then our training period, once you get that CDL and you get hired, then we put you into our training program, the TNT program. And currently that's 30,000 miles minimum. Minimum is the key word there. What we do is we look at the safety record logs, critical events. While you're in that training period, that's the time when you're learning to operate independently and learn how to operate a safe, efficient, profitable truck on your own.
And now will I get paid during that part?
Correct. During that takes about 9 weeks or so. And the pay during that time period is $900 a week. So during that 9 weeks, $900, that's $8,100.
Now, what if freight's a little slow? I'm out there with my trainer, but you know, it doesn't happen often right now, believe me, but maybe there's a little breakdown or something.
You know, where do you work at, man? If you're not running the freight to make $900 now, there's a problem.
Well, what if we have a delay? We have a delay getting unloaded.
Yeah, breakdown, a weather delay. We're getting into that time of year. That $900 is based on the days that you work, independent of the productivity of the truck, because we know those things can happen. And we know that while you're in that training period, there's really not a lot you can do to control over it. What you can do is you can control how many days you work. So we look at the weekly number. If you're available and you're out there available for work for 7 days, then that number is $900.
Okay, and you said I'm going to do that for 30,000 miles. So right at 30,000 miles, I'm going to get my own truck.
You can, yeah.
Okay.
You absolutely can. What happens at that point is you let your fleet, you have a discussion with your fleet manager trainer. Am I ready? Yeah, you're ready. Let's go. We do some computer stuff, put you through, and basically every department in the building approves you to come in and upgrade and get your own truck. At that point, you come in and you take about 2 days worth of classes, and then you can get a truck and go out on your own.
Now, I've heard, you know, I've doing my research. I've heard that there are some really good team opportunities. Maybe I trained and my wife, we came together. We each had our own trainers. Now we're going to go out there as a team together. Both paychecks coming to the same household. What can I look forward to as a team?
Absolutely. And that's really what I'm here to talk to you about today, is to talk to you about the opportunity that's in front of you now, starting today. The next 52 weeks, earning $100,000. It's amazing money. It's real. It's not smoke and mirrors. That's how powerful our network is. We're really proud of it. And we want to make sure that everybody here knows the opportunity, especially the folks out here in the yellow vest. As in summary, you know, you're going to have 4 weeks at zero while you're earning your CDL. Once you earn your CDL, you're going to have about 9 weeks of training at $900 a week. Now, the numbers that I'm getting ready to give you are in our reefer lease division. Okay, if you're flatbed, it's a little bit different. Tanker's a little bit different. Intermodal company's a little bit different. They're all on the lease side. They're all relatively close. So these are reefer lease numbers. I just want to make sure that's clear. But Once you hit that 30,000 mile number and you come in and you get your own truck, our average lease operator settlement in the reefer division right now is $1,565 a week. $1,565 a week. That's after you pay your truck payment, after you pay your fuel, that's profit to the truck. It's really amazing money for coming in to start a business. And that's just average. There's some of you that are going to be above that number. So, and you're eligible to train, you're eligible to start training other people at 6 months. So if you look at the calendar, you got 4 weeks at 0, 9 weeks, that's 13 weeks. You run another 13 weeks at $1,565 a week. That puts you at that 6 month mark. And during that time, it's another 20 grand that goes into your bank account. So at 6 months, you come in and you're taking the classes just like you folks are right now. There's people in the trainer instructor class right now that have hit that 6 month mark that many of you are probably going to be paired up with this afternoon to go out and learn to get that CDL. Okay. So you're out there, you're running freight, solo network. In addition to that, while they're teaching you to get your CDL, there's another $300 a week stipend that's paid to them, in addition to some bonuses for testing. So you get the $1,565 for just running freight, which you've been doing already, plus another $300 for teaching you how to pre-trip, how to drive, how to do the backing maneuvers. And that's for a 3 to 4 week period of time. And this is what Steve was alluding to. The real money is where our teams are at right now. Teams are so valuable in our network. When you look at the capacity, supply versus demand, our average team profit is north of $3,000 a week, $3,045 to be exact. And that's just not like a 1 week deal. That's what they've averaged over the last 52 weeks. Okay, for the last year, $3,045, 52 weeks, that's our average. That's after you pay your truck, that's after you pay your fuel, that's after you pay your maintenance, that's after you pay your co-driver, $3,000. So if you look at that in the next 52 weeks, when you look at the money you're going to earn during the PSD phase, the money you're going to earn while you're training, the money you're going to earn while you're running as a solo, the money that you're going to earn while you're instructing somebody to get their CDL, and the money that you can earn while you're running team for that last 22 weeks of the year, that comes out to almost $103,000. So I don't know where you guys came from, what kind of earnings you had, what kind of career. Maybe this is your second career, maybe this is your dream job, but the opportunity for you right here is amazing. And that's why we want to talk about it, because the plan starts right now. Okay, the plan starts right now. If that's something that interests you, you need to be talking to your trainer about it. You need to be talking to your fleet manager about it. Many of you maybe don't have a fleet manager yet, but you'll get one this afternoon. When you get paired up with an instructor, you'll have a log auditor that's assigned to you. You'll have a payroll associate assigned to you. You'll have road assist. You know, you got to start building your circle of trust, and you got to start with the end in mind and think about where you want to be 52 weeks from now. And that plan needs to start today so that you can hit those benchmarks along the way, because there are stumbling blocks with logs and safety and some of those things. So it's important that you know what the goal is for yourself and your family, and you start working on that today if you want to take opportunity and capitalize on that amazing earnings potential over the next year.
That is some good information, Jason. Who's got some questions for Jason on this? And if we don't have any, we're going to make sure we get some. Wait a second.
I don't have so much a question as I have as a comment. Jason talked a lot about the first year, all you folks in the yellow vests and stuff like that. I just want to point out, I always hear a term out there that Prime is a great starter company. Prime is so much more than just a starter company. Sitting right here at this table between the three of us, you have 72 years experience at Prime sitting right here with over 10 million miles accident free. So all y'all don't think that, you know, after a year, oh, I got to go someplace else. This is a good place to stay and have a career.
Thank you for that, Thomas. Keith, the lady right in the back has a question too. Oh, thank you, Brian. Okay. Oh,
Don't be scared. It's okay.
all right. Well, let's grab one more question.
She changed her mind. She wants to say something.
Oh, just didn't want the microphone. That's okay.
So you really have experience. Okay. So you want to come train?
Okay. So if she came in experienced, how long does she have to be at Prime before you can train? Oh yeah, just be a trainer, not an instructor. Okay.
Okay. It's, well, assuming if you came here as an AC, you're going to have the 6 months experience. The minimum time requirements are 6 months of over-the-road experience. So if you came here as an AC, you're going to have that or you wouldn't be an AC. So what we would want is 60 days as a lead seat at Prime. So we would want 60 days out running your own truck at Prime, whether that's company or lease, doesn't matter the division, to make sure that you kind of get your Prime legs underneath you, so to speak. You know, how we dispatch the trucks and how payroll works here and safety and all those things, logging, because we want to make sure that we want the best of the best to train. So that's the answer, is 60 days.
Hey, Jason, we have a question. Yesterday there was this is from Sherry. Yesterday there was a 10 bobtail backup and outbound. Can we have a bobtail outbound lane?
There was, a backup on the bobtail lane? Okay.
No, on the outbound, there's not one currently for bobtail. Can we get one is what she's asking.
Okay, asking about a backup on the outbound bobtail lane right here in Springfield? Okay. Yeah, there's only
That's what she's asking. Can we add one?
Oh, can we add one? I'm not sure. I know, I do work and I split my time between operations and driver lineup. That's a good suggestion. That's probably something that I need to get with Doug and the rest of the crew out there as far as the inspectors and stuff go. I know those guys really work hard and have really done a great job here recently of trying to limit the inbound and outbound wait times, maybe doing some things differently than what we've done in the past in an effort to, make the most efficient use of your time. So that's definitely something that I can't answer right now, but I'll get with Doug and the team and we'll see if it's something we can explore. Thank you.
I'm not a trainer, but I got hit at a truck stop 3 weeks ago. And when the guy told me that he only had 7,500 miles of training on his truck, and Prime does over 30,000, it shows what kind of company this is. And when he told me that he only did 7,500 miles, I was like, whoa. So you should respect that. More miles on the road, even 30,000, you don't learn everything. So just don't take it for granted. If you have any questions, always ask your trainers. And if they don't respond to you, then you can always go to your fleet manager or ask somebody else. But I talked to the big boss, Mr. Lowe, yesterday when I saw him, and he told me that there's no rules about only 7,500 miles on the road. So that's what I see. So thank you.
That is a great point. As we're heading into winter, I always kind of give this piece of advice. Don't be in too much of a hurry to upgrade. I know that's part of your career plan. You want to get out there, but at the same time, you want to make sure you succeed when you're out there. So you got a good trainer. You guys are getting along. You're making good money. Let's just think about that upgrading and the timing of it.
That's just the nature of it. Some folks are going to get it a little bit faster than 30,000, but we have to wait till 30,000. Some folks, it might take them a little bit longer, and that's okay.
Yeah, we're good with that. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, I'm a PSD trainer, but I had several of my students that are out on their TNT phase. The TNT phase is to get them prepared to come back in to get their truck, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so for the new students, if they're not being properly trained, which that's the complaint that's going on now, to where they're not being shown, they're just being out there to help them get miles and not really learning anything, what steps can they take in case that happens in their situation?
If we have a person out there that's being trained and they feel like they're not being taught the right things or something, what I would do is the first thing is you're going to want to reach out to your fleet manager. That's your lifeline. That's your main point of contact. And I know people are a little bit timid about that sometimes. Like, oh man, my trainer and my fleet manager are best buds and I don't want to rock the boat and I'm just trying to get through it and da-da-da. And I'm just telling you, from being here 25 years, most of that time in the chair as a fleet manager, that's absolutely not what we want to happen. Our goal, we are invested in your success. That is the only way that we as a company remain successful. Okay. So that's your first step, is to reach out to your fleet manager. If that doesn't get any resolution, then we have a couple of other resources. Chris Martin and Steve Tassin work with our TNT program. They're basically the matchmakers between the trainers and the trainees and handle any kind of, conflicts or anything like that. They mediate any kind of those conflicts that come up. You can also reach out to myself or any of the operations managers. I sit in the basement of the Z building, sometimes out in the plaza. Stan Almond and Jamie Eli both sit up on the second floor. We got Brian Singleton out in Salt Lake City. I know you can talk to safety. Stan Casterkey and Steve Larson out in the plaza building, who you guys are going to have had and are going to continue to have a lot of contact with over the next few weeks. We're all invested in your success. We need you. We're glad you're here. We are proud that you're here, and our goal is to get you trained as quickly, efficiently, safely as possible, and get you in a truck and get you out there hauling freight so these customers stop beating up on us for not being able to cover our commitments, right?
Hey, Jason, we have a couple more questions from online.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnson said, do we still offer additional money if they decide to stay longer with their trainer?
We are not. That's kind of we haven't discussed that this year. That has been, depending on the time of year and maybe equipment situations and stuff, we've offered some additional money in the past. We really haven't talked about that this year. That's why that really that was the impetus that was the impetus of that co-driver pay going from 700 to 900 was we recognized a couple of things. Number one, with as profitable as the trucks were, the money was there. And also we knew that winter was coming, and there's a lot of folks that do. You may not, if you hit that 30,000 miles on December the 15th, you may not want to lease a truck on December the 15th. You might want to wait till January or February or March. So we recognize that, and that's part of the reason that we moved that from 700 to 900 in June, I think it was in preparation for that. So.
Awesome. And then one more question. Can you talk about any updates with the floral division or floral loads?
I can talk a little bit about the floral loads. I don't think we have any floral guys here. Keith, you want to, I know the big news is that driver unloads are going away. Yay. Let's all clap for that. It's kind of a funny story, but years ago when I was traveling back and forth to Pittston all the time, and it was when Connor Bacon, I remember it was our first trip with Connor Bacon. He was thinking about moving up there. So I took him up there for a week to kind of schmooze him and talk him into moving to Pittston. And it was right around Valentine's Day. And so we always do this deal where there's cases of roses, and they put them in the company store at the mailroom or whatever, and you can buy them and take them home to your wife and that kind of thing. And I remember we were catching the plane one morning, and Brad Quinn was like, hey man, I need you to go out and grab 15 cases of roses and get them on the plane to go up to Pittston for our brothers and sisters in Pittston. And so here I am out there 5 a.m, opening this trailer, climbing up in there, unloading 15 cases of those roses. And I'm like, oh man, that is.
You got a taste of it.
Give me a juice load. I'll haul juice.
There are no dedicated opportunities I'm aware of, but talk with your fleet manager. There is a qualification process to haul flowers that will be taking. They can take it at Pearson, or they can take it here with Corey. But get with your fleet manager if you're interested in hauling those flowers and get that qualification done in advance.
Absolutely.
Jason said it a couple of times. Now I'm kind of talking to the new folks. I think our old hands know this. We are truly vested in your success. We want you to succeed. Everyone in all these buildings here, from myself to the folks that work in the shop, to your log auditor, your payroll person, your road assist advisor, we all want you to succeed. When you succeed, we succeed. So if something's not right, we need to hear about it. If something's not going right with your training, we need to hear about it. If you're dissatisfied, we need to hear about it and talk about it. So I think we've got a great program here. Jason gave us a lot of good information there. Now we just need to make it work with you guys, and that's what we're going to do. Thanks, Jason.
Pretty good, huh, Fields?
Yeah, you did good.
Pretty good.
I want to quickly point out, we're talking about to succeed. I've been paying attention to this table, and they've been studying the whole time they've been here. So watch these 5 that have been sitting here, because I bet in 6 months we see them be trainers. They're here to succeed. Good job, guys.
Good deal. You ready, John? Now we got John Harden. John's been with us a long time. A lot of people think of him as Mr. Baseball from Missouri State. When I think of Missouri State baseball, I think of Ryan Howard and I think of John Harden, two of the biggest names in baseball down there. But regardless, John is in our intermodal division. And I'm going to ask you this, John. Will you start with just exactly what is intermodal doing? You know, we're seeing containers on trains, but what does the prime intermodal division do? What is your connection with the freight?
Okay, so to describe intermodal a little bit, our drivers are basically local to the areas that they work in. So, for instance, Chicago, our drivers will never go probably more than a couple hundred miles away from the Chicago market. Same with Memphis, Seattle, Portland, Stockton, California, everywhere we run in. So we're basically doing one segment of a leg of a load. So intermodal is just multiple modes of transportation on a load. Everything that we do is truck, then train, and then truck on the delivery end. So, you know, our drivers, since they're very local, right now we try to get them home nightly. We have a few runs that we're probably going to take a look at as we transition more into containers and day cabs, to probably adjust our freight a little bit, because obviously our drivers will have to be home nightly as we get into the day cabs. So that transition's currently taking place. I'm sure probably some of you have seen our containers out there on the roads or at common drop yards in Fontana or Bedford Park in Chicago. So, but essentially, you know, we may take an empty trailer to a shipper, pick up the load, take it to the rail yard and drop it, and then move on to our next load. So, you know, coming from the over the road side and having a lease fleet for 11 years, it was a, you know, it's a really different dynamic. It's a different mindset. So, you know, if intermodal is something that, you know, works out to where you live and you ever want to get into, you know, please feel free to ask any questions. I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of what goes on the over the road side and the intermodal side. So can answer any questions that anyone might have.
So what are your big areas now, John, that you're looking for drivers? You mentioned Chicago. What else? What are your big areas?
So Chicago and Southern California, the Fontana, San Bernardino area are our two biggest markets. We're also looking to bring on drivers in Portland, Seattle, Salt Lake City, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area, Memphis, Tennessee right now, and the Fort Worth area. So
go ahead, Keith.
So that's multiple picks and drops per day. On average, how many multiple picks and drops per day do they have?
So depending on the area, you can have multiple picks and drops, yes. So probably on average, 2.5 to 3 loads per day just across the board. We have markets where, you know, we're still doing some longer haul freight that might be, you know, 200, 250 miles one way. So, you know, it's impossible to get out and back on one clock. But we also have markets where we have customers right near the rail. We might be able to do 7 loads in one day, you know, all drop and hook, pre-pull type situations where you're just going to the shipper, to the ramp, back to the shipper, et cetera. So just depending on the market.
And are they required anything special like a TWIC card or anything they need in order to qualify?
No, we don't go into any of the ports. The rails don't require the TWIC card. So, you know, essentially, you know, we have the same requirements as our over the road side as well.
Sure. That's okay. Go ahead. Or you say it, I'll repeat.
Is that per mile? Is it company or
Kind of how the pay works, John,
Sure.
company and lease.
So depending on the area, we have a couple of areas where we have company drivers exclusively in California and Chicago. So right now we're actually revamping, and here in the next few weeks hope to have roll out a new pay structure. So our company side, we have 6-day work weeks just because of the nature of the work. You know, if you're doing multiple loads a day, sometimes the days could potentially be longer than, you know, if you pick up a load, let's just say you pick up a load here in Springfield and you're taking it to Memphis or somewhere tomorrow, and, you know, you can knock out, or if you have 350, 400 miles, you know, you get down there, get your 10-hour break in. You know, sometimes our loads, if there's any kind of a little bit of a delay, you know, the day could be longer. So we shorten our work week up a little bit. Right now we're on a guarantee pay, which will remain. but with some incentives, for the more you do, the more you make. On the company side, the lease side, we have rates in place for all of our lanes. So, obviously the more loads that you're able to do in a week, the more revenue you generate. So, and typically, if you look at a side-by-side comparison, with an over-the-road truck that might be able to go out and do 2,800 miles or even probably a little bit more than that, on some weeks, our drivers might do 2,000 miles in a week, or, we have some areas where we can stretch out and get a few more miles in, but typically our miles for the week are shorter. So, there's not as high of a fuel cost involved with that. So it's just a different dynamic altogether. And, again, just kind of having that mindset flip from the over the road side to intermodal.
Hey, John, we have a question. Prime Trucker Rob said intermodal positions in Atlanta. And if somebody's interested in a position that isn't currently open, should they contact you, or how should they get on the waiting list?
Yes, absolutely. Contact me right now. We do have a couple of drivers in Atlanta. We're not at this very moment, not looking to add more, but for sure, reach out to me so I can get him on the list.
John, let's go back for 1 minute to the day cabs. I find that kind of interesting. So a little more information on that. Are you going to go exclusively day cabs? And obviously that means any overnight run is going to be a hotel, I assume. Talk a little bit more about what the day cabs mean.
Okay, so the day cabs are basically a necessity because of the weight of the container and the chassis that the container sits on. You've all seen driving down the highway, the train going by that's got the containers stacked on top of each other. And, the rails, everyone's looking for capacity out there from the customer side. So, the rail is obviously a popular solution, and the rails are full. So the rails are recognizing that, okay, we can do 2 containers or 1 trailer. So they're really pushing towards the container side. So with the container weight, the chassis weight, these day cabs that we're getting into are coming in somewhere right around the 14,000 pound mark. In order for us to scale the weight that our customers want to ship from point A to point B, we're going to the day cabs. And then, yes, obviously with anything that's, shipper delay, mechanical delay, if our driver is not getting back to their home base where they're parking at night, then, obviously we're getting in a hotel for the evening.
Good deal. Thanks, John. Any other questions before we let John go? It looks like your division's really growing, and we're going to keep doing that.
We appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, John. Oh, hang on, John. I think there was a question. I'm sorry.
You have any opportunities in Nashville?
Nashville.
Nashville's kind of a tricky one. We do pull out of Murfreesboro. So ideally, all the rails are over in Memphis, Marion, Arkansas, and Rossville, Tennessee, or Collierville, Tennessee. So it could possibly work. And if you'd like some more, information, that we can discuss that. But we would essentially, assuming we're going to be all in day cabs, we would have to, start and finish over there on the Nashville side. And it just depends on how far you are. Can we get from where you park to a shipper, to the rail and back to where you can shut down for the night?
We have a question in Salt Lake.
Go ahead.
I got a quick question. I'm from Portland, and you said you guys are basing intermodals out of there. I just want to know what the openings are like there, and if there's any length requirements being with the company before you could look into it.
Yes, we do have openings in Portland. We have ramps in both Portland and Seattle up there. And there's no restriction as far as length of time with the company in order to come to intermodal. If you're eligible to be in your own truck, on the reefer tanker flatbed side, then the same goes for the intermodal side.
All right. And do you know if there's any positions open right now in Portland?
Oh, yes. Sorry. We do have positions open up there. And if I can get your information, or if Brian's listening up there in Salt Lake, he can give you my number and reach out, and we can discuss that today.
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect.
Not Detroit. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, John.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
Appreciate you coming up today. Like happens sometimes, we're going to have to go ahead and bump one of our speakers. So I apologize, Sam, but I promise we'll get you on first next week. because I do have one more thing to do here before I bring up our final two speakers. You know, you kind of heard a little bit about them, but I want to introduce three drivers. So Thomas and Glenn and Emily, would you guys come on up here just for a minute? Come on up. You know, when you know what I really like about these guys, can I call you a guy, Emily? You're one of the guys. You know, it is what they give back to the industry. They're not just sitting back saying, oh man, you know, this freight's no good. My truck's always broken. You know, all three of these are just perfect examples of folks that give back, whether it's through Customer Advisory Board, the Truck Driving Championships. And we're talking things in just a second, but would you guys just briefly just introduce yourself to the new drivers?
What all you want them to know?
He said briefly.
Oh, briefly. I'm Thomas Miller. I've been with Prime for 22 years. I have 3 million accident-free miles. I've won numerous awards within the industry. I'm an America's Road Team captain, and I'm currently a member of the Drivers Advisory Board here at Prime.
I'm Emily Plummer. I've been at Prime for 22 years. That's it. Oh, I'm on the DAB and 3 million safe miles.
I'm Glenn Horak. I've been in Prime 29 years. I got over 5 million safe miles. I'm going this weekend. I'm up for owner operator of the year at TCA. I'm going to Vegas this weekend.
So what he didn't say is we're going to piece this together. Glenn's going to try to repeat what Thomas has done, and that's be the Truckload Carrier Association Driver of the Year. You know, out of the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of drivers that belong to companies that belong to the TCA, it's just incredible that we have two that have been nominated. Thomas is one, and Glenn, we're wishing you the best of luck this year. I'm going to ask you to do one more thing, Glenn. Could you do our veterans today? Yeah.
Yes, anybody that served in the armed services, would you please stand up and be recognized?
Thanks, Guy. We appreciate all three of you. Steve, I'd like to introduce Steve Wutke, our Vice President of Sales and Marketing.
Thank you. It's nice to see y'all. Welcome to Prime. Yeah, give him a big old round of applause. He never gets a hand. Come on. Really just kidding. He doesn't need a hand. It's nice to see you all here. I think you've made a great choice in your decision to enter into the professional driving world. I would echo some of the things that have been said that you need to take to heart, and that is it's very dangerous. It's not something that you can just go in. You just got to be all in. When your shift is ready to drive, you just got to be ready to go, right, Thomas? Matt, how long you been here, Matt? 24 and a half? Yeah, I mean, talk to these experienced, I'm not going to call them old hands because that's unfair, but talk to these experienced folks that have been here with us for a long time. You can learn a lot from them, and they're really more than happy to share. So think about that. Think about, is this really what I want to do? You know, because it does impede on some of your social life. If you really enjoy the party world, you just can't be out there drinking and partying all the time. You got to be straight when it's your turn to drive. It'll cost you your profession if you're not. You know, we talked a lot about training. I hope and I believe that people that want to train for the right reasons. And that is to give back and to help other inexperienced drivers learn the right way. Now, in so doing, they have to, as a trainer, they're obligated to do the right things too. And that is to provide a good hygiene situation, a good clean environment, and that's all part of the responsibility. And sometimes that money sounds really good, and maybe we get somebody that's really not committed to training, but just want to make the money. That's not what we want. We want to put good, safe drivers out there that understand what it's all about. So as you go through this, not everybody's a good trainer. It's tough. Everybody might start with the right idea about training, but it's really tough. I've been a school teacher. Teaching's tough. Coaching's tough. You just got to want to do it the right way, okay? So We've talked a lot about our company here, a lot of opportunities. Safety is our highest calling. Don't ever think differently. You can do really well financially here. We're proud of what we've been able to accomplish. We've got a great freight network. Our customer base is the best in the country, and they have bought into what the value Prime brings to their networks. So we've got these rates moving the right way. We've worked on accessorials. We've worked on dwell time. We know the value of everybody's time. So we're really trying to work on all the rules associated with what you all do. It's no fun to be out there ready to work and sitting because somebody won't unload you. So we recognize that as well. We're not perfect, far from it. These meetings really help us get better. Listening to what you all have to say makes us better. Sometimes we read our own print, and forget what it's all about. So listening to what our driver base has to say is really important. And I think we're good at it. And as Thomas mentioned, we have a driver advisory board that you all can contact and share information with. And I just think we're headed the right direction, have been for quite some time. Business is good. It's a great time to be in this industry. Talked to a couple of girls that I met several years ago. Just last week, they were here for a safety meeting, getting their third truck, starting their own fleet, having their own business. You can do a lot of good things here. Don't limit yourself. If you can dream it, you can be it, So think like that. Think positive and be safe. I want to introduce the guy that started this company a few years ago. Robert Lowe started with one truck, just like many of you all, and did have a vision and a dream and has done a pretty good job. He's got red on. You see a lot of people here with red. RED, right? RED. Remember everyone deployed, all right? That's what we should think about. Okay.
Thanks, Steve.
Yours, man.
You were very kind. You said I started this a few years ago. Some people would say 51 is more than a few, right? But, it's been quite a ride. I've enjoyed it. One of the basic tenets of Prime is that, the independent contractor model, one truck, that's what you want to do. That's cool. If you want to add to that, as Steve was mentioning, 2, 3, a fleet, we've got an operator here that, started very small and now is around 500 trucks and has other business interests outside of Prime, really, but he's really still very much part of the family. Glenn Horak, man, oh man, what a trucker he. Well, Emily, Thomas, those folks, man, we're wishing you well. If the judges have any brains at all, you will be the National Truck Driver of the Year. And he is really so good, so safe, so on time. We're just really proud. All these drivers are DAB members. Driver Advisory Board gives us an opportunity to listen to our drivers, share ideas, learn, because let me tell you, I think we're pretty good, but we're a long way from perfect. You know what I'm saying? We're a long way from perfect. Again, back to the basic tenets, we owe you safety, health and safety. And, those are big issues right now. So we do everything we can to keep you safe and healthy. Of course, along with the people out there that we share the nation's highways with. We owe the opportunity to make a living. We've talked a lot about that today, right? Let's get real. You came here to make some bank, right? You want to make some bank. I'm all in favor. I understand it very well. I do too. So we talked about some numbers. Jason's still here.
I think he went back over to operation.
He did?
No, there he is. Here he is.
Well, Jason probably should be over there loading trucks, but he's still here. Now, Jason, that 3,000 number year to date for the teams, for the lead seat team, lease operator, did that include R&R?
That did not include R&R.
Did not include R&R. Let me tell you something about retention rewards. We had a presentation from Daryl Hopkins last week.
We did, really good one.
A really good one. So this is money. It's not the operator's money. It's all comes from Prime, and it's every year. We add to your R&R account. We had an individual last week that cashed out for, anybody want to guess?
Wasn't it? I thought it was 87.
I think it was 80 something. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, for your employee drivers, company drivers, you have your 401k. That's cool too. We love you just as much. But R&R is really something that's unique because most independent contractors, by law, don't have something like that you can contribute to and accumulates for you tax-free. So we're really proud of that. Now, let me ask you something else, Jason. Don't run off, Jason. Don't get away from me here. I know you're big.
Hey, just a minute, Robert. Matt's got something right there. Hello? He didn't turn it on.
I just have it beat by $130,000 in my account right now.
130.
30 something.
That's what we're talking about.
130 grand.
Right there.
130 grand.
Really wants to know if he's married.
Yeah.
So you can afford a haircut then, right, Puccio? Yeah? Okay.
So, Jason, let me ask you. You said it didn't cover R&R. Does it cover LCI?
That
These
it does
completion
not.
incentives?
That was strictly revenue minus expenses equals profit. So you're
Okay.
talking about all the gravy,
I'm talking about
the extra gravy on the biscuit.
You do the full 3-year lease, or if you're a flatbed or tanker, maybe you do a 4-year lease. So, there's some money in there too. And that, many times, for teams is going to be, maybe $30,000 every 3 or 4 years. You're gonna get. Somebody else wants to wait in here and help me a little bit?
He just pointed at me and handed me the microphone. My last one was a 3-year lease. I ran team most of the time. I did 589,000 miles on the truck, and my lease completion was 37,000.
37. Okay. Now, we're not making these. You're hearing this from drivers. This ain't Steve Woodkey up here spinning it. These are real numbers, folks. Now, we might have some competitors out there that are listening to us this morning. I think sometimes they sneak in, because this is open. The world can listen to us. That's cool. I wish a challenge to them. Earlier, we explained to you, if you follow these steps, you come in here. Maybe you're working at Walmart or, Target or wherever it was. You walk in here, no experience. 12 months later, $100,000. $100,000 in earnings. Now, I should challenge all those folks out there to listen, all those competitors out there to listen. I challenge you to create a program that gets you from square one, no experience, just a desire to achieve and willingness to work hard to get your folks to $100,000 the first year. I challenge you. Bring it on. We got it because we got great freight. We deliver great service. We have the greatest drivers in the industry, and we pick them up and deliver them on time and safely. Importantly, safely. So we'll see how many folks pick up the challenge and get their folks. Drivers have been underappreciated in this business for a long time. This pandemic has given us a platform because you all have stepped up and served this country. You've delivered the products, you delivered the PPE, and you delivered the vaccine, and you delivered all that stuff when other people were, at home hiding. You all are out there putting yourselves at risk, doing all those things. And we have elevated the image of the industry in the public's eye because the public, they say, how's this stuff get here? Well, a truck driver bought it. And that's great. And you're to be commended and thanked. And I tell you what, you're great folks. I appreciate you very much.
Can you feel the passion right here? It starts at the top here, Brian. You see, just goes all the way down. You know, Robert, really, we should also just take a moment and thank everybody out there that's running, not here in our safety meeting, all of our own operators, as well as those competitors. They're delivering safely, I hope. So we're missing you all that are out running. We appreciate you. Maybe we'll catch you next time around, but go ahead.
I think he's trying to get me to shut up. He's saying, Robert, cut it off. We got to get to work. I get it. Anyway, I love y'all. Please be safe out there. God bless each of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Steve.